Hi guys! Have you ever wanted to be
A synthetic nightmare that kills without a regret.
or maybe to
Experience tranquility.
have you ever dreamt about
Controlling robots with your mind?
In today's video, I'll try to replicate some of the effects chains for robots from video games. Let's go! And the first one and the easiest one in my opinion will be Zenyatta from Overwatch. Let's listen to the original voice line.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
One more important thing I'd like to point out before we start, it's not actually the effects chains that make these voices sound amazing. It's actually voice actors. But since I don't have a professional voice actor at my disposal, I've recorded some lines myself. Let's hear it.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
And the first thing I wanna do here is to get rid of clicks, make some de-essing and apply heavy compression to squeeze out all of the dynamics to make it sound robotic. With all that stuff applied, it sounds like this.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
And to make it sound like a Zenyatta, we'll actually need two effects. The first one is chorus and the second one is frequency shifter. The chorus effect will help us to get that metallic feeling, like someone is speaking inside their head. So to get this, we actually need to increase delay time, decrease the depth, and increase the rate. And at this moment the sound is too wide, let's decrease the spread. Let's hear it.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
Okay, we're actually getting somewhere. And to get this weird feeling, we'll use a frequency shifter to decrease all the frequencies by the same amount. Let's use 50 in this example.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
And it instantly sounds like Zenyatta. Let's do some mixing for the final result. So here I've made some EQing, made it louder, narrowed the stereo image, and just a little bit of multiband compression. And the final result.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
And let's compare it to the original voice line.
To deal death, one must embrace life.
I think we did great, and let's continue. Overwatch has some amazing robots, so I've decided to try to replicate Orisa.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
As I can hear, Orisa's voice sounds somewhat the same as Zenyatta's, but it has some additional movement there, so let's try to replicate that. Here I've asked my friend to record some lines for me. Let's hear it.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
Right from the start I did some basic things and applied frequency shifter.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
To get that strange movement, let's apply ensemble by kilohertz to detune our voice track.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
And let's apply delay with the small amounts of a delay time and a little bit of feedback.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
And don't forget to narrow down the stereo field, because all kinds of the detuning effects make it wider.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
And let's compare it to the original voice line.
Holding position. I was only following my programming.
I think it sounds pretty much the same, so let's go to the next one. And the last robot from Overwatch for today is Bastion. So as I can hear, Bastion's voice has a lot of harmonics and it's like someone is pressing a chord. So how can we replicate that? But firstly, let's listen to some amazing voice acting. And here I'm going to send the original voice line to the 3 independent channels to process them separately. And the main thing that will do all the magic is Wormhole by Zaneptic. It's a multi-effect with lots of possibilities, so let's check it. Here I'm going to disable warp and reverb, we don't need this at the moment. Decrease the frequency shifter by 900, it's actually a combination between reed modulation and frequency shifting. Increase the pitch shift by 3 octaves, it has some amazing algorithms that I couldn't replicate. and increased the shift mix to the maximum. Let's hear it. And it instantly messed up all the frequencies, so we're getting closer to sound like Bastian. And here also I want to cut some mid and highs, because the sound got too resonant. I put the same stuff on the second channel, but now I enabled warp, increased its depth to the maximum, and decreased its mix by half. And let's make it a little bit quieter. I think around 5 dB will be enough. Here I also needed a low buzzing sound to emphasize Bastian's robot nature. So I copied the wormhole from the second track, but now I increased the mix to the maximum, added vocal synth by iZotope with Biovox and Talkbox enabled with bass grater presets, and a little bit of distortion. Again cut some mids and highs and added chorus. And this track I'm going to make much quieter, so it won't interrupt the first and the second. And let's hear them all together. And here also I wanted some additional movement in the low section, so I added multipass by kHz, where I assigned the LFO to the gain of one of the bands. And in the end I made some additional mixing, so it sounds like this. And let's compare it to the original voice line. I think we got pretty close. Let me know what you think in the comments.
What the hell are you?
Revenant from Apex Legends has an amazing design and a really creepy voice. Let's hear it.
You spent your life hiding your desires behind weapon specs, Sarge.
Okay, so besides frequency shifter, flanger and delay with feedback, I can hear some creepy stuff going on in the background, and it gets really noticeable at the end of the phrases.
Alone. Unwanted.
Let's try to replicate that. For the main layer I used frequency and pitch shift, delay with feedback, chorus and flanger. And that stuff only sounds like this.
You spent your life hiding your desires behind weapon specs, Sarge.
And now it sounds gritty and dark, exactly what we need. But what are we going to do with the second layer? And here I've tried lots of stuff but ended up using Crystallizer. It's a plugin that does pitch shift, echo, delay, reverse stuff. And hear what it sounds like.
You spent your life hiding your desires behind weapon specs, Sarge.
And to get that creepy movement, I additionally assigned a pitch knob to the LFO. And if we combine the echo with the main layer, the stuff gets too muddy and contains lots of information that we don't need. So I used EQ to cut almost all the highs and the lows.
You spent your life hiding your desires behind weapon specs, Sarge.
And on the mix bus, I used a convolution reverb, because when I listen to Revenant, I think he sits in some kind of a metal box. And before that I just used a saturator. And the final result with additional mixing.
You spent your life hiding your desires behind weapon specs, Sarge. How else did you expect it to end? Alone, unwanted, and deservedly unloved.
Well, that sounds creepy and robotic for me. Hope you liked it. And next on the list is Hell from Ghost Runner. Let's listen.
GL-74 located. Kill switch component not found. Mission to engage. Granted.
And it actually can be done in less than 1 minute. It's actually a noise oscillator in vocoder. If you don't know what vocoder is, it's the stuff that helps me speak like that. Let's jump into it. And now I'm going to use Morph by Synaptic. The secret is, if you leave the second track empty, the plugin will actually morph our sound with noise. Let's listen.
Permission to disable restraint module and engage experimental drivers.
I think it's 100% correct. And after I made it louder and made some EQing, it sounds like this.
Permission to disable restraint module and engage experimental drivers.
And let's add a convolution reverb to put it in some space, just for fun.
Permission to disable restraint module and engage experimental drivers.
I think that's it, nice and easy. And now comes a character from the game that is almost 12 years old, Legion from Mass Effect 2.
We are all Geth, and we have not met you. You are Shepard, Commander, Alliance, human, fought heretics, killed by collectors, rediscovered on the old machine.
So as you can hear, Legion has this glitchy, granular type of voice that describes his Geth nature. And at first I was really struggling with recreating this one. And then I found some Geth noises from the original Mass Effect game. And then I thought, maybe I can vocode this stuff with my voice? So here's what I got. For the vocoded content, I additionally automated pitch shift with a random LFO to get that extra movement. I got one step closer and then I thought, how about morphing my original voice with frequency shifter?
We are all Geth, and we have not met you.
With the stuff I got from vocoder.
We are all Geth, and we have not met you.
So with this I saved some of my human intonations and morphed it with glitchiness of Geths. And after I mixed it a bit, it sounds like this.
We are all Geth, and we have not met you. You are Shepard, Commander, Alliance, human, thought heretics, killed by collectors, rediscovered on the old machine.
I think it sounds okay, but still lacking something. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. And one of the most famous troll robots, GLaDOS from Portal.
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty good.
As you can hear, GLaDOS has this perfect pitched robot voice. But at this point I think you're getting really tired of me voicing all the characters. So let's use one of the Google's text-to-speech services to record some lines. Now I'm going to show you how can you record stuff from your computer directly into the DAW. I think the same technique can be applied to every DAW. And the first, and for God's sake, the main thing you should do is to disable master send on your recording track and arm it. Then jump to your audio settings, change your audio system to Wasapi and select Shared Loopback mode. And let's go to Google Cloud Text-to-Speech. Scroll down to the demo and put whatever text you like in here. At the audio device profile, select Home Entertainment System or Smart TV. As I can hear, it just has a clearer bass. Go back to your DAW and press Record. After that, go back to Google Cloud Text-to-Speech and press play.
I hope you brought something stronger than a portal gun this time.
And now in DAW we have our audio track. As for the voice of GLaDOS, it's just perfectly auto-tune signal. You can use whatever plugin you like, Melodyne, U-Tone, Autotune by Antares. I'm going to use Melodyne. As we open Melodyne we can see it has already detected all notes, so select all of them, double-click to automatically pitch them, select Pitch Modulation tool and double-click again. Let's listen.
I hope you brought something stronger than a portal gun this time.
With that, our voice became unnatural and robotic, but let's not stop there. The next thing I wanna do is to shift formants by one semitone. On top of that, I added chorus and the convolution reverb to give it some space. Let's listen.
I hope you brought something stronger than a portal gun this time.
That's it. I think it sounds good for the synthesized voice. Imagine what we could achieve if we had a professional voice actor. Speaking about auto-tuned voices, some time ago I watched an amazing trailer for the upcoming game called Atomic Heart, and I think it has an amazing female robot voice design. I really liked it and tried to replicate that. Let's hear it.
Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind? Want to learn Chinese in 5 minutes? Or maybe get a PhD in quantum physics in just 1 hour? With the launch of the Collective 2.0, all this knowledge will be available to anyone!
I think that the recorded material is very important here. So when I was trying to record some lines, I was thinking about singing them rather than pronouncing them. And on this track I already did some heavy compression, EQing and de-essing. Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind? Now let's just heavy auto-tune our signal. So here I have a vocal synth by iZotope. What I'm going to do is to disable the vocoder, Get the level on the pitch tab to the maximum. At the correction section, choose major key and bring the speed to the maximum.
Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind?
It is certainly not enough. What else we can do here? And here's also I want to introduce pitch drift, like in the old analog synthesizers, when the signal was wobbly and in some way out of tune.
Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind?
Additionally, I added delay, chorus, and compressed all that stuff.
Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind?
Okay, and now it sounds somewhat close. Let's continue with the mixing. And as always, on the mix bus, I use some de-essing, EQing, saturation, and gaining.
Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind?
And it sounds okay. When I listened to it several times, I thought it's still lacking something though. How about adding the music?
Would you like to get genius abilities or control robots with your mind? Want to learn Chinese in 5 minutes? Or maybe get a PhD in quantum physics in just 1 hour? With the launch of Collective 2.0, all this knowledge will be available to anyone!
Okay, that sounds pretty funny, and I think there is nothing more I can do here. And that's it guys for today's video. Write in comments what robot you like the most.
See you in the next video. Bye bye.